Okay, on this video, I want to talk about the adrenal and ovarian body type. So over the past few years working with the different body types and marrying the body types in the ketogenic diet and lifestyle, I have seen primarily adrenal in the office. And one of the way we confirm that is by doing the Dutch test, which is the dry urine testing that checks your hormones so that it can check how your cortisol is being metabolized. What pathways is it going through? Is it recirculating through the body in a negative way? Is it creating secondary issues with your sleep, with your liver, with your thyroid? So what does this adrenal person look like? Well, I always say this adrenal person is the one that has a really loose belly fat, that has the, what do those kids call it? Well, we call it the love handles, We see a lot of kids with that, and it's just really loose, very loose belly fat. That's what we usually see. Most of it is here. And when they put on pants, it's kind of just rolling over. The fat's rolling over like muffin tops. So that's more of your adrenal. Visually, you can see that adrenal looks like that person. This is a very irritable person. This has been a person that's been under a lot of stress, and they go through different phases where they're like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, type A personality. And they're just go, 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 go. And then they just hit a wall and they just crash. And then it's hard for them to recover. It's the worst place to be in. I've been the adrenal type and have had adrenal dysfunction a couple times in my life, probably more than a couple times within the last few years, where I've had to rebuild and retrain and renourish the adrenals. So this person also, they have notoriously, like in the back here, there's like a buffalo hump, and it's there more, it's almost like you have all this fat in front of you, but this is almost kind of, it just like balances you out. So you see that person, they have a lot of insomnia, sleep issues, difficulty getting out of bed. They just can't tolerate stress, and they're worried a lot of the time. They worry for nothing. Other things we start to see is, even with the women, we start to see facial hair, but we also see like a receding hairline because of the stress for women. Even you get to see like their boobs start to sag more. They lose a lot of the hair in their arms, and say they have spare hair in the forearms. So, and they usually have a lot of high blood pressure issues, but they always feel like a tightness in their chest. It's almost like they feel they're going to have a heart attack. That's just anxiety. So that's really a hardcore adrenal person. They have the heel spurs, and usually this person, it's the one with the fibromyalgia, the allergies, the asthma. So check on your list there, because they're the ones that are craving a lot of the chocolate and the sugar, and the cravings are usually in the late afternoon, evening. So that's your adrenal body type. So how do you work with this adrenal body type? What is the best thing to do? Well, usually the adrenal body type is the man or lady that's like really strung out, and they're like, I got to do this and I got to do that, and exercise makes me feel better, and they're just very driven people, but sometimes going and doing high intensity exercise is not the ideal thing for them. And if they do, I say tone it down to maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. They do better more with yoga, with resistance training, like the Body by Science, or compressed, concentrated frame windows of time when they do weights. So everything's like super, super slow. I kind of call it a Tabata type weight training, where you're moving through the exercise, doing as at a slow to medium pace. You'll do like maybe 10, I don't know, let's say chest press. And then after that, you hold it for 10 seconds in a contracted position, and then you do 10 more, a little bit, not too slow, but you do that, and you just do 4 cycles of that, and you're done. So your exercise should be really short. You shouldn't be doing a lot of long training. This person does better with just outdoor stuff, being outdoors, walking in the ocean, in the lake, out in the mountains, and just having their peace and quiet and meditating. Like I said, yoga is perfect. Tai Chi is perfect. So this person also, they actually do really well with the keto program, but with all these body types, you'll see in the handout with some will say higher fat, lower protein, or higher protein. And the kind of protein that I'm referring to more is more, if it says higher protein, it's more like vegetable type protein, plant-based protein, as far as more even the protein powders made from plants. They do pretty well with those. Carbs and sugar, of course, I don't want anybody on carbs and sugar. We got to keep those really low, and they do really well with the ketogenic diet, the adrenal type, and with the healthy fats. So that's what you want to see with that one. And the concoctions with having salt in their diet is going to be super, super important. So salt everything. In the morning, have your water with salt in there. So that's the adrenal person. The ovarian person is very easy to detect. They're the pear-shaped woman. It's always a woman. But I need to change that, because when the book was written and when I got my training, there was like, it's the woman. But you know what? There's men that are ovarian types, and the woman is one that has a lot of menstrual issues, PCOS. They can't get pregnant. They carry their weight, like I said, most of the weight in their hips. However, men can have moobs, and you've seen men that have they have boobs. Some of them have more than us women. So that's an ovarian body type that has excess estrogen deposits throughout the body. So very easy to recognize. Ovarian and liver kind of go hand in hand, where the ovarian body type, a lot of PMS, cystic acne, but you have your liver that's very important in metabolizing the estrogen. So it's almost like you work with two body types together instead of one. So a lot of the times ovarian and liver go hand in hand. So with this person, they do really well on a lot of vegetables. The same thing with, we talked about the liver. The ovarian does. They do pretty well with moderate protein. I would see more plant-based protein. The fat, the moderate fat is more, once again, it's like the coconut oil, the olive oil. It's not from the animal products. Very little carbs, and you want to eliminate sugar because they have a lot of blood sugar issues. So that can also tie into adrenal. They do better with like longer distance exercise. So riding a bike at the gym, doing the elliptical, it's really putting a lot of stress and a lot of work on their lower body parts. They're going to do really well with that. Doing squats, doing lunges, doing leg press, they do very, very well, and it's really easy to tighten and shape that part. One of the things with the ovarian body type, they have a lot of cellulite, and they don't do well with dairy. So I have seen in all the years of doing this, I love dairy. I love having my grass-fed cheese, and I like to have, you know, I like it. But I noticed that once I'm off of that, the body just really tightens up. The cellulite literally just goes away. So even though you're eating grass-fed, you're going to have less cellulite, but you really want to get rid of it. It's like you got to eliminate the dairy, the grains, and the sugar. So this person, I think they would do really well also by checking definitely hormones. You got to check the hormones with them just to see if their estrogens are not being metabolized into prolific estrogen that could create cancer in breast or uterine. So definitely I would recommend doing the dry urine testing, the Dutch testing, to find out how is my estrogen metabolizing? Is it metabolizing in something that's going to hurt me, or is the pathway going in a safe pathway? And you'll also be able to determine if the liver is doing its proper job in metabolizing it. The digestion is very important as well with all body types, but especially with the ovarian, because the digestive tract also, there's something called the estrobolome, which metabolizes the excess estrogen that the body needs to get rid of. So that's a little bit about the ovarian body type. And then of course at the end, I do just have some simple strategies that you can do, that you definitely want to make sure that you're getting sleep, you're staying hydrated, you're managing stress, you're eliminating sugar. And my favorite, of course, is just practicing gratitude. So I hope that makes sense. Talked about adrenal, ovarian. So some of them are married to each other and you're working together and they overlap and you get pretty good results. So the ketogenic diet works really well. It's just switching off your source of what type of fat you are going to incorporate. All right, so I hope that makes sense and I will catch you on the next video.